Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à Rêve Show. Je suis Wanda Weeks, elle, et aujourd'hui nous retournons à... Oh, this is English. Right, sorry. Hi everyone, Wanda Wicks here, she, her, thank you very much. And we're going to be getting back to Disco Elysium. You know what? This is a good time to mention it, I think. Speaking of language, let's talk about this word here, disco. Now, etymologically, of course, the music disco comes from the Latin discus, which became discs, and then you listen to discs at a discotheque, thus disco music. But disco, coincidentally, was already a Latin word, as anyone who has ever encountered the album by Justice, Audio Video Disco, which means I see, I hear, I learn, could tell you. Disco, in that sense, is more closely related to discover. Disco means I learn, or I uncover, I investigate. And that is, of course, what Harry is doing. He is discovering and learning about Elysium, which is one of the names of the world we're in. Anyway, let's get started. Now, let's take a quick look before we do anything else, see where we're at. We've got a couple of things we need to do, some of which we can do today, many of which we can't. Superstar Cop is at 5, Apocalypse Cop is at 2, Sorry Cop at 2, Boring Cop 1, Communist 14, and we don't have any of the other political opinions. I think we're going to be trying for Apocalypse Cop next. So hold on to your pants. I'm going to be saying some apocalypse type stuff. And we need to finish investigating the people here in the roundabout. There's one other driver we need to talk to. I love this statue here, by the way. We're going to learn more about that. Bold slogan, Humanox covers the truck. Okay. There's a few things we can check out here. This is yellow, so we only found it with our perception. We've got the white tank top, which gives us a boost to our physical instrument. Work it! Tank top, gym vest, reeking of sweat. This sleeveless shirt is the best choice if you're not afraid to show off your masculine upper body and that hairy chest. Now, unfortunately, we already have a shirt in the shirt slot that can give us a bonus to physical instrument, and we can't wear them both at the same time. But, you know, it's worth having in the inventory nevertheless. You never know. By the way, I love the look of a, look how deep that neck is. Combination with the tie. It's very good. And you know what? I think now might be a good time to talk about physical instrument. Let's have a look at it. Physical instrument. Flex powerful muscles. Enjoy healthy organs. Cool for muscle men, bare-knuckle brawlers, gym teachers. Physical instrument is not only your muscles and your skeleton, it is your ability to use them effectively. It enables you to do push-ups, sit-ups, knockout punches, and 360-degree spin kicks. It's a one-size-fits-all solution to thriving and surviving in a physical world. At high levels, physical instrument breaks doors, chains, and bones, and it makes you laugh at the namby-pansies who can't. You'll be manned up, encouraging others to curl iron until they're manned up too. At low levels, however, you'll have a hard time arresting anyone who isn't infirm or already dead. Indeed, engaging in physical confrontation could leave you in either state. Now, this has a lot to do with Harry's backstory. We're going to learn a lot more about who Harry was, and part of that is taking a certain refuge in athleticism, and along with that, reinforcing machismo as a way of shoring up his own identity. And as a result, he now thinks of throwing a punch as an inherently masculine activity. As we saw in the very first stream, ripping the sink off was a fierce discharge of masculine energy. Anyway, if Physical Instrument starts chiming in and offering insight, you'll see a little more of what voice Harry gives to that particular stat. What's this? Ruins full of snow. No one lives here anymore. We can't go down further there. What do we got here? Okay. And her.
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face.
Now, this is something that is often commented upon in scene construction. Because in our culture, we read from left to right, we have a natural inclination to think of things moving to the right as moving forward, and things moving to the left as moving backward. Most of these character portraits are face-on, perhaps tilted one way or another. This is the first character portrait we have seen that is looking back. That's going to be relevant. We got an intellect skill about to chime in here.
The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'd like to ask some questions.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
This is a bit rude, but we're gonna go for it. Snap your fingers in front of her face.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Well, Kim approves. By the way, this is a thing. If we weren't on a mission from Joyce, Kim chiming in would be saying just the opposite, saying, wait, don't. But he's on a mission, therefore, he allows us to do this.
Where am I? Who are you?
Like a magician recalling a subject from hypnosis, you've jolted her back to reality. Me? I am the law around here.
Then I don't suppose you could tell me where we are, lawman? Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s.
She adds with contempt. Hey, what's so bad about the 50s?
The men have small jaws and everything is made out of plastic. Why do you need plastic when you can make the world out of amber?
Amber, obviously a metaphor about trapping things in the past. This woman is addicted to memory. When else would you be then?
Back in Methka, during the time of the revolution. The sidewalks and cafes are filled with the young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadero picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro.
You will note her pronunciation of Methk. Most of the other characters in this game will call it Mesk. It's sort of like the difference between a Latin American accent and a Spanish accent. Also, Boyadero, we're about to learn a lot more about what a boyadero is actually Portuguese. It basically means cowboy. It's a word you would hear more often in Brazil than in the south of Spain. Nevertheless,
Until you came along, that is.
the look she gives you is accusatory. And to be fair, if I had been enjoying my life 50 years ago, presumably young and healthy, and based on this, libidinous, and someone jolted me back into being this old, I mean, I've been physically old. It kind of sucked. Who's Gabriel Buenguerro?
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
She shows you the photograph in the lavish amber frame.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen. And schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
She leans back, savoring the world she's conjured up.
In all likelihood, it's a world that's only ever existed in her mind.
So I take it you were in Mesk when you were young?
Someone was.
She nods as though her meaning were perfectly clear. This woman is disconnected from the continuity of her memories. She is enjoying past memories, and it doesn't matter if those memories were the ones that correspond to her current form. Someone? Are these not your memories?
They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. Beautiful and true. And they will win. They're coming for this, you know? All of this.
All of what? The world. The present.
Our reaction speed is right to react. The pale driver is talking about something important. Sorry to interrupt your dreaming, ma'am.
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Loman. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden.
Her eyes narrow, and she appears to take your measure.
While you, people, were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution, in Methk, it was a golden age.
The Republic of Mesk is a massive confederation on the Isola of Muindi, the world's largest state by territory. It's a petrostate, a constitutional monarchy, and, as of recently, an outcast due to its tilt to the far right.
Politics, like a lot of other things, is never set in stone and will change over time. Right, I have some other questions for you. Police questions.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
That word. Essentially, sheriff. She settles back against the railing of her motor lorry. Behind her, mountains of memorabilia, photos, and knickknacks line the dashboard. Let's go straight to the Boyadero. I still don't really understand this whole Boyadero thing.
Of course not. To truly understand the Boyadero, you need to listen to On the Western Plain.
A boyadero, boya for short, is a cowherder from upstream Magritte, the great steppes of northern Mesk. He is a rugged individualist and explorer.
Joyce referred to Call Me Mañana, the union guy who's sitting up on the railing, as a boya. This is what she meant. Okay, what's that?
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring boyadero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plain.
Ah, how romantic. And they live happily ever after?
Don't be stupid. The boyadero returns from the Western Plain a changed man, one night. As he and his beloved are out walking along the river Margaret, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down.
In the background, you can hear the orchestra swell as the screen fills with the maiden's imploring eyes.
So he gives up his riding and settles down, right?
No. The boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Margaret. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him.
The Western Plain calls to the Boyadero as it calls to her. And the Boyadero must be willing to sacrifice anything to get back there. That's not where I thought that was going.
You have to understand. A true boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a boyadero.
Cowboy fantasies are often very focused on freedom. This is similar to that. What are you hauling?
Diamonds.
Diamonds, really?
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
Reality matters less to her than the fantasy. Okay, but what are you really hauling?
Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
So you don't know what you're hauling in your own lorry?
I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
She doesn't drive the lorry for the cargo. She's the pale driver. She drives the lorry because it gets her to the Western Plain. What if the cargo is contraband?
Then it's contraband, Lawman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like Bad Hand Hermenegildo.
Bad Hand, Hermenegildos' bad hand, strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just really like strangling people.
Oh, thank you for the trivia encyclopedia. Alright, so the other drivers have said that the drug smuggler is someone called the Lady Driver, and so far she's the only visible female here. Are you the Lady Driver?
Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
I was told of a woman driver. You're the only woman here.
I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul.
So you're not the driver everyone is terrified of.
I'm only terrifying to small children, and to those who used to know me.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
Why are you scary to the people who used to know you?
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was.
You said long haul, that's...
The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there, it's all just...
She hums along, as if to a track on repeat.
In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates, and all you see is an aging woman.
Shivers, our connection to Revachol, tells us that there is an adversary.
In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't hear any vocals.
Then who is the female driver I was told of?
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around when I have my movies to go to?
Well, that's all I need to know about that, thanks.
Oh, Sim.
She stares at you, her mind elsewhere now, on other matters. Before I came, you seemed... away.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to her things.
So he doesn't think she's the lady driver?
You hear that, Lawman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Kim has a reason to keep us away from this truth. Why is that, Lieutenant?
Nothing. I just don't think she's connected to anything.
He doesn't want your frail mind caught up in something here. Something unconnected to the case. But connected to this woman tuning out like that.
We don't yet know what this is all about. Should you drive a lorry if you get like that?
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best communers around. I drive routes no one else will.
What routes?
Lomonosov's Land, Udashnaia Zemlya, the Western Plain.
She nods and closes her eyes again, letting her mind submerge.
A terrible cold comes over her, rattling her teeth as she stares inward.
What is the Western Plain? We don't know yet. It makes you think of cowboys, but it's not what you, the player, are imagining.
The Transcatolia Magistral. You for 1A. Adestradas do Mirador. All the good ones. The deep trenches. Where the bluebirds fly.
She opens her eyes again and shudders. I'm something of an expert in blacking out. You should take better care of yourself.
You're right, Lawman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously. Thank you for looking out for me. Is that all you woke me up to say?
You seem like a woman who knows a thing or two about drugs.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel. The great adversary. No drugs can compare.
The adversary?
Yes. There is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
This is not necessarily related, but I do want to point out that in certain versions of Christian theology, Satan is referred to as the adversary.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest.
That's not really what I was getting at.
Then what were you getting at?
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
I wanted to ask if you'd be interested in smuggling some drugs.
Why would I want to do that?
Let's see, so we can say, for commerce, the lifeblood of the Isolas, for the glory of the world republic, liberation of the spirit and body, or, I don't know, the thrill of the criminal lifestyle? Let's say for commerce. I'm curious to see if that's an ultra-liberal option.
Lowman, what in the name of God are you talking about?
Okay, let me put this another way. Are you smuggling drugs through Terminal B?
Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way.
You said earlier you don't know what cargo you're hauling. Could it be drugs?
Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grat, on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grat, Lowman?
Drugs?
No, Lowman, diamonds.
If you had to guess, who do you think is smuggling drugs around here?
Easy. He's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here.
That's true. Tommy Laham is over in this direction. This is going to be something of a theme. Who can see what from where? And by the way, Joyce, back on her boat, can see us. Or at any rate, that's the in-game reason for why she knows whether or not we've completed her mission.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Okay, if you're not involved with the drug trafficking, then why are you still waiting here?
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Look at all the colors and the futures of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
I think we're done here, no?
He closes his notebook to stress it. Yeah, we're done here. Thank you for now.
Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Mesky.
Her voice trails off. Now let's check out this car here. A foreign car, kept in good condition. Oh, money. $60, not nothing.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Let's look in the window.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia.
What kind of stickers and insignia?
The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. It is the seal of Royalist era Revachol.
What about the back seat?
The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eamdal in the Lost City of the Pygmies.
You will remember, Man from Helmdall is a simplistic version of a masculine fantasy based in fantasy Europe. Can you guess whose truck this is?
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town.
The
This
lieutenant
is our guy.
nods towards the racist lorry driver. You think this lorry belongs to our tough guy?
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over.
Alright. The lorry's probably stored fuel here. Now, they store booze. Alright. We're not gonna talk to this guy about his lorry. We are gonna cash in our bottles, though. We've got a couple. 10 cents per.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
Let's save Mother Earth.
Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now.
That was 22 pieces of tear.
You're 100% sure you got special Hobocop money for that tear. At least 100% extra tear money. If the numbers on the machine told you otherwise, it's a lie.
We didn't. We did, however, get extra bottles. That's what matters. Melancholy pop song plays on the radio.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
Now, we could try to steal it. We actually get a bonus because of our shivers. But Kim's watching. I want to buy a raincoat.
Here you go.
And then, now that we've bought it, we can ask her what it is.
What is what? A raincoat? You know, like the one you bought earlier?
Don't need any more information than that. Yellow roses. Dozens of them. Tulips, too. Here's the raincoat we just bought. Part of Frit's army. A transparent plastic raincoat with Frit, Seek, because of the 3 T's, written on the back. The package photo shows a group of happy Revacholians dancing in the rain. Now watch what happens when we put it on. Frit. That's the logo there. Now, we have 2 hit points. Because that's our endurance. And I said I was curious. Yep, ultra-liberal 1. There we go. Our comment about wanting money makes us a ultra-liberal, which is the equivalent of a libertarian. A little more weatherproof right now. Let's go. Closed for winter. Please use main entrance. What's this? Goods from the lorry haphazardly litter the surroundings. Want to get all the orbs, of course, because each one is XP for us. Oh, here's one. This coin-operated viewer has been banged up, inoperable. Two, Roundabout North. 2, Capeside Apartments, Martinez Pier. The ad reads, broken window? Tibbs has windows. Tibbs, by the way, we will learn more about. Did we look through these? I don't think we did.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Poor little viewer.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Vandalism.
Probably some kids.
The lieutenant inspects the rigged slot.
A simple but clever solution to ruining a coin-operated viewer. It took ingenuity.
Look inside.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk, written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards.
Can you guess what our intellect is about to tell us?
That's Kuno on the lens.
Thank you, Logic. Shift your focus to the background.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. You know this to be the Star of Pericarnassus, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Pericarnassian Church, a star, a great moral height to be strived towards.
And thus not a symbol of a crucifixion in this setting. The Cairo is actually also a symbol in the Christian church, although in that case it is a combination of the Greek letters chi and rho, and therefore the rho part looks more like a letter P. That's for Christ, the first two letters in the word Christ, or Christos in Greek.
Around the large wooden building you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice.
Yeah, we're gonna meet the people in that tent later. And we'll also look through this one.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary.
This one doesn't have gum in it, so we have to spend 25 centimes.
Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
What's a tourist attraction doing here?
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick.
That design studio did a bunch of the stuff around here, including the weird exploded monument. What happened?
They got as far as the street lamps and the statue on that intersection. Then something went sour. I suspect that something was Everard Clare, the union leader. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here.
Can't we do something about it?
We should have done something about the union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Yep. This district in Martinez is not policed by either the 41st or the 57th, and as such, the only quote-unquote law here is the union.
Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal.
Let's pull the handle and look inside.
The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost.
Turn the knob to focus your vision.
The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it.
There are ruins of some kind of building there.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
The lieutenant takes off his glasses and cleans them. Alright, we're gonna keep looking around. Oh. Let's have a look at this wall here.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Now this is extremely challenging, even with our very high conceptualization. You know what? Let's take a quick look at our clothing. We don't have anything boosting it. Conceptualization. Oh. There, let's try it now.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Alright. I do know that there are ways to recheck this, so let's give it a shot.
You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez. Weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
Alright, well, we can try that later. Money and medicine. A garden hose. This won't be of use until the snow melts, and looking at it got us a skill point.
you see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
He says in a quiet voice. Despite the cold, his shirt hangs unbuttoned on his frame. This guy runs hot.
It's the voice of someone who has something to hide, my liege.
Thank you, drama. Not a lie per se, but as he says, he's not looking for trouble. No trouble for me. I just want to know what's going on here.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Gendarmerie, of course, French for basically soldier or cop. Gendarme, armed man. Or man who is armed.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Actually, then gendarmerie really needs to talk to you. Like I said, who can see what is important.
Is it really that important?
I just said it was.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Can you tell me your name?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
That's definitely not his real name.
If you don't make this check, you can be fooled by that obvious lie, regardless of how smart the player is. You're not actually called Martin Martinez, are you?
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice?
He scans the courtyard. It's silent like the bottom of a well, every sound captured and reflected back. Looks like you've got a good view of the Whirling's backyard. Can you tell me anything about the hanging?
I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
Did you? Look at Kim.
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
There's a muscular type investigating this hanging, and they've already asked him questions.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
The lieutenant takes out his little blue notebook and writes something down.
Last week? I don't know. Look.
He looks around the courtyard again. Old patio chairs and dead houseplants litter the scene.
He's an actor declaiming a soliloquy. See how you hang on his every word?
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
What kind of friend?
It was my Sunday friend.
What's your friend's real name? Did he see something?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the dull and darkening sky, the neighboring windows stand silent.
All right, we'll talk later.
No. We won't.
I am really regretting wearing this shirt right now because this shirt gives us a bonus to our conceptualization, but it is going to screw us for the check coming up now.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
As you can see, it's brought our suggestion down from 1 to 0. In theory, we can still make this check. We just have to roll a natural 10 on 2d6.
This isn't the place or time.
Oh,
for
yeah.
questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains?
Totally unearned. Thank you so much, Disco Elysium. Thank you, RN Jesus. Hey, listen. Lower your voice. I'm just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else?
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion and a hint of understanding.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
His voice is soft and deliberate. With a flick of his wrist, he sends the cigarette butt sailing over the rail.
But, hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He walks away. And there he goes.
He's gone.
The lieutenant puts away his notebook and turns to you. We should run after him, see where he went.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
So we just give up?
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case.
I'll go ahead and let you know. That's the big mercenary who's pretending to be a scab leader by the gates.
He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there.
The lieutenant nods towards a small rock on a soggy patch of grass.
If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Great, let's do that. Oh, and here's our new thought.
The bow collector. It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. The sparks light her face, a delicate composition of triangles. The streets seem to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shapes growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you, carrying your signals. The holy messenger.
This is a little insight into shivers. Back when Harry and his ex-wife were still together, Harry would reach out, perhaps on a subconscious level, to try and connect with her when she wasn't there. And the medium of that connection is the city itself. The ex-wife is gone, but Harry's central nervous system can still talk to Revachol. This gives us a +3 bonus to our shivers, the third presence. The link between them. It's still there, even though she is not. There you go. And yes, we have a skill point. I'm just going to keep this one banked. We'll, get it later. There's the rock.
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it.
Let's turn it over.
There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
Nice.
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments, and the man can be in any of them.
How are we going to find the right one?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Put the stone back. Can't get to that orb just yet. Chairs and tables eaten by the rain and rot. Before we go in, there's one other thing over here. Well, two other things if you count this. Just a closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. Can't get in there, don't have a key. These barrels are half full of rainwater. But this is the important thing. There's something in this box. Hat. And some health. Mostly the hat. Alright, let's head on in. Yeah, if you like the cigarette guy, don't worry, we'll be seeing more of him. Eviction notices and missing pets are plastered on top of each other. This box is filled with cleaning chemicals. Smells of laundry detergent.
Yes?
Oh, didn't mean to. But we'll take this opportunity since we're talking to Kim anyway. You seem to be following me.
Excuse me?
Nothing, just an observation.
You have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide.
What do you mean distinctive?
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officers from Jamrock's 41st Precinct tend to move a bit erratically.
How's that?
They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
This is a little bit of meta trivia. It excuses why Harry would move in a way that a typical video game player would move him, which is not how a normal person would walk through an environment, let's be honest.
Yes, but containers contain things, shiny things. They're interesting.
You're kidding me. Why containers?
I don't know. Containers contain, I guess. I'm making assumptions. We should move on.
All right. Well, thanks for the talk. Now, the thing I was trying to get to behind you. Flip up glasses. The Auditor. All right. Let's go see if we can find that smoking man. A maroon glow of light pollution rises from the east. You hear distant traffic. Night is falling on the city. The curtains shift just a little. Someone is watching from within. The breaker box is full of cigarette butts and electric wires. Since we have our crowbar out, we can get this. That's what the blue means. We can't get to that. Just a door. Nothing for you here right now. We'll get to that later. Someone's growing rosemary, thyme, and a cactus. I think the cactus is going to do equally well. Number 28. A door to be remembered. This is the door to apartment number 29. This is the door to apartment 30. Voices from within, singing along to some buoyant dance track. Complete silence. Whoever lives here isn't home. Don't know where the smoker is. Money. Alright, let's have a little more of a look around here. An old shoe rack, boots, sneakers, and old slippers. These shoes come in 3 different sizes, implying that there's 3 different people here. Apartment number 12. A loud rumbling snore comes from within. Oh, it's gross in here. You know what? Let's get our flashlight out. By the way, I like this detail about the description on the flashlight. You can see it's 57, because that's Kim's precinct, and this is Kim's flashlight. A police flashlight bearing the logo of Grundlestung RAO. The small dynamo packed inside this handheld illumination device theoretically gives you the ability to produce a tiny amount of electricity anytime, anywhere. Now, we won't get to use that to power any other devices, but it's a way of explaining why in this video game, unlike some other video games I could name, we don't need to look for batteries for this thing. Moss crawls on those bathroom tiles. Actual moss. These shower curtains are covered in some sort of slime. Ooh, found some booze. Uses left 3. If you buy one of these from the convenience store, they come with 9, so this is already 2/3 consumed. Just taking some random money out of this bathroom. Someone has drawn a 5-pointed star on the wall. Get some money out of the shoe. Literally 1 penny in these shoes.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
Now I want you to look at this upside-down star has antlers drawn around it, and white paint. Knock.
No reply.
Examine
It's
the
a solid
padlock.
lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
You know what? Don't mind if I do.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
You know what? I think we can get even higher than this. Because I'm pretty sure... Oh, no, we do have the gloves on. Never mind.
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you doing? You're
What?
trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
Well, RNGesus giveth, RNGesus taketh away. Oh,
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective.
the lieutenant points to the corroded loop with a gloved finger. These chain cutters are broken, Kim.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
You know what? Yes.
The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little thud. It should be possible to enter now.
After you, Detective.
Just breaking into this random apartment. Hey, dang it. There we go. Alright, again we see the star and antlers. A flamboyant poster of a white star. Real lithography. We find one bullet and a Sarah Mauritian lounge jacket, which boosts our conceptualization. Now, let's check that out. Bullets. We have one bullet. No gun yet, but we have a bullet. Let's look at these clothing. Orange bum hat. +1 to our reaction speed, feeling twitchy, but -1 to our rhetoric. Bum brain. An orange beanie with a couple of big-ass holes on the side. It looks like it might have been used as a mask during an armed robbery. Flip-up glasses. The Auditor. +1 to our logic, balancing the books, -1 to our authority. Filthy boho, probably a narcomaniac. These flip-up sunglasses were fashionable in the old, but have since lost their popularity. Their thin gold alloy wire frames are a reminder of drug-addled bohemian artists. These days, the glasses are only favored by organized crime accountants who desire to look cool. And the Sarah Mauritian lounge jacket, +1 to our conceptualization. Summer plans. A classic white summer jacket loved by both the Sarah Mauritian Communist Party and the accompanying subtropical drug traffickers. It fits you well, regardless of your political ambitions. Very classy. Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. Photos of revolutionaries posing with guns. And this guy.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads Kraz Mazov.
Now, we remember hearing about this guy before when we were arguing with Guard about his dumpster.
Honestly, he does kind of look like you after all.
You'll remember we thought maybe we are Krasmazov. Kim, you have to admit, this Krasmazov bears a striking resemblance to me.
Hold on a second. Is this why you broke in here? To find out whether you're Krasmazov?
I'm not saying that I am Krasmazov, I'm just saying we look alike.
Sure you are.
Just humor me for a moment, don't you see the resemblance?
Well, you both do seem to share an affinity for sideburns. But it seems like old Kras here didn't drink nearly as much as you.
How do you know? The bust is probably just a romanticized depiction anyway.
Very well. Let's look for identifying features then. Doesn't he have a birthmark right here? What about you?
I can't tell, I can't see my own face.
All right, but here's the big thing. Krasmazov looks Samaran, and you don't.
Krasmazov was half Grad, half Samaran. the equivalent race would be Russian and Chinese. You're right, that's something we definitely don't have in common.
Good, so you're not him.
I might not look like him, but I know it in my heart. Krasmazov, that's me.
Okay, you win. Be Krasmazov then. I don't care.
I want you to imagine two modern-day cops. They met for the first time today, and this man just heard his new partner proclaim that he's Karl Marx. And this is the guy you have watching your back when the bullets start flying. Kim is made of steel.
Why are you so hell-bent on proving that you're Krasmazov anyway?
So, our options, and here we have a bunch of different political choices. Like I said, I think we're going to be going for ultra-liberal next. That and apocalypse, but apocalypse isn't one of the options here. We've got because I'm a communard, because I believe in a powerful nation-state is the only way to protect the working class from subhumans. That's the fascist option. Because actually he wanted stability and incremental progress, and so do I. That's the moralist option. Or because he was totally a gangster and a bank robber who went for all the cash in the world. That's me. This is the ultra-liberal vision of what communism is. Stealing everything. And finally, I'm not sure, it's just a feeling I have, but I trust my feelings. Now, we're gonna say he's a bank robber who went for all the cash in the world.
I think you have misunderstood who he was, but if you say so.
Why does this tenant have a bust of Krasmazov in their bedroom?
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
Like a lot of people who oppose communism, Kim pretends at least to believe that communism begins and ends with, I have a right to take your stuff. And to be fair, when you're on the receiving end of communism, that's pretty much the only thing you do here. Father Mazov, the hero of the working class.
Whoever lives here definitely shares your enthusiasm.
He leans closer to inspect the photos of revolutionaries on the wall.
There aren't many communists around. Not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems.
You know what? Let's see if we can get the other political options if we loop back on the dialogue. It sort of ruins the verisimilitude, but...
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. Hold on a second. Is this... Sure you are. Well, you both do seem to share an... Very well. Doesn't he have a birthmark right
I
here?
definitely don't have a
What about
birthmark on
you?
my left cheek.
Then it's settled. You are not Krasmazov.
No, it's not settled. I might still be Krasmazov, it's just a birthmark.
All right. But here's the big thing. Krasmazov looks Samaran, and you don't. Good, so you're not him. Okay, you win. Why are you so hell-bent on proving that you're Krasmazov anyway?
Alright, let's pick the moralist option. He actually wanted stability and incremental progress. You know, not a revolution that would overthrow things.
I think you have misunderstood who he was, but...
Alright, so let's have a look at our stats now. Yep. We have a point in moralist. There we go. And our ultra-liberal is up to 2. We're gonna score the ultra-liberal option once that gets to 4. We also said at least one boring thing, apparently. Anyway, the suicide of Krasmazov is a thought that we could internalize if we felt like it. There's something you can't get out of your head. Krasmazov, the father of scientific communism, the premier of the Communist Party of Chestnograd during the anti-centennial revolution, head of the 11-day government, which, if you listen to certain voice lines, they will also refer to as the 9-day government. Sideburn-toting, bearded figurehead of the movement, shot himself in the mouth? And died? One day in his cabinet as things were collapsing around him? Just gave up? That's not good propaganda, is it? Be a communist. Shoot yourself in the mouth. Something about this irks you. Now, if we were to go investigate this thought, we would eventually reach the conclusion, like a lot of people do about historical events when they don't read history books and instead just reason it out for themselves, that the official story must be wrong and something else happened. But, you know, we're gonna leave that be for now. We might choose to internalize it later, if we get a spare skill point. No reason why not. Oh. There we go. Revolutionaries love to boast with their guns. That's the thought we had when looking at the photo. Close that. Bye, Kim.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Wrong voice line. That should be about this room. This time the steps come closer. Who is this? Demands a female voice, wary and tense. This is the police. Open up.
Do I have to open the door?
There she is. You hear the clacking of heels again, as the other side walks right up to the door. Her tone is now getting a defensive edge.
Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
Kim heard us through the door. Technically, he's still with us, so I've just sort of locked him off physically.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Door number 9 is locked. Let's get some stuff. Now, Kim is standing through the door. Got a postcard from Boogie Street in 46. And more money. We're cleaning up. Literally. Let's have a look at that postcard. 15 cents. We could sell it to Roy. This crumpled up postcard depicts an open air market in Boogie Street about 5 years ago. Boogie Street is a prominent thoroughfare in Jamrock. A vendor smiles as dead roosters line his stalls, hung by their feet from canopy. Red blood flows under the muddy street. Blurry shadows of people pass. Apartment number 8. Their mailbox is overflowing. The graffito says, "A firing squad for the rich." Hi.
Give me a moment.
Don't mind me as I shine my flashlight directly into your face. An elderly woman is leaning on her broom, her knuckles white as bone. She seems to be having difficulty breathing.
The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
She sneezes into a dirty handkerchief. Are you all right? Should I call a doctor?
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
She starts coughing, red spots appearing on her cheeks.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Who are you?
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways.
Like a lot of people in this game, she'll be forthcoming but won't actually tell us her name, because she has no obligation to. And also because the game designers know if you're flooded with too many names, you'll lose track of who's who. So she's just the cleaning lady. Do you live here?
If you can call it living.
She spits on the
I've
floor.
a little room upstairs, right next to the coal room.
Alright.
It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
That's what not complaining sounds like.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the coal room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery. She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
I'm looking for a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, a smoker on the balcony.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
She looks at the other end of the hallway.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
No trouble, I just want to talk to him. Do you know where he lives?
Talk?
The cleaning lady starts laughing, but it turns into a violent coughing spasm. She squeezes her broom, trying to catch her breath.
What was so funny about that?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
Kim has very good hearing. I have a few questions about those apartments.
Ask away, policeman.
Is one of the residents on vacation? Their mailbox is overflowing.
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
Who lives in apartment number 10?
No one lives there. It's been empty for months.
But I talked to someone through the door.
Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there.
She pauses, eyeing the hallway.
Maybe it's those countercultural people again, breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you?
As logic said about that door, it's generally easy to do things if you have any reason at all. Sure, I'll go see what I can find. Now we have a reason.
Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans.
Who lives behind the padlocked door?
Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar.
Suddenly the old lady's face is beaming.
I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study.
Astrology?
Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall.
You mean the star and antlers? I think that's the symbol of communism.
The symbol of what and how?
So our options are communism, like in the World Revolution. The ones who support the working class against capital. It's an ideology. It has some noble aims, but it's also been used to justify terrible bloodshed. It's for loons who have no idea how the economy works. Or it's a symbol for contributing to the demise of our noble state in the name of some made-up world of equality. Or communism. It's a political ideology. Obviously, these middle four are political options. We're still going for ultra-liberal, so we're going to say this one.
Economy? Why should anyone care about economy?
She shrugs and returns to sweeping. You know what? We're gonna do the loop back on dialogue thing.
Oh, that one. I think he studied something to do with all those stars around his door. The symbol of what and how?
The ones who support the working class against capital. We're just gonna give this lady all the possible definitions of communism.
Huh. I thought Revachol was the capital.
It's inconvenient that words have multiple definitions sometimes.
Oh, I think he studies something to do with the symbol of what and how?
It's an ideology. It has some noble aims, but it's also been used to justify terrible bloodshed.
The cleaning lady shrugs and returns to sweeping. The clash of ideas and atrocities are as far from her world as fairies and wizards.
Lucky. Who lives behind the padlocked door?
Oh, I think he studied something to do the symbol of what and how?
It's a symbol for contributing to the demise of our noble state in the name of some made-up world of equality.
I don't believe in equality. Never seen it work.
She shakes her head and returns to sweeping. Oh, that's all, thanks.
She mumbles some kind of a response.
Thanks, I'm off. Alright, let's have a look at our stats. Yeah, we got a boost to all of them. Ultra-liberal's up to 3. Any second now on that one. Now we are going to go back and check out apartment number 10, and we'll free Kim from the purgatory we've locked him in, but first, let's check out this whole area. A note reads, "Foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates."
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor.
Rub your sides for
A
warmth.
former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to -20 degrees Celsius.
That is very cold. Her face.
Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression.
The plan.
Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down.
Look around yourself.
It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room. She had an eye for beauty.
Shiver. Shiver sometimes allows us to connect to the past. Waves crashing in the darkness. And then this wall is broken down here. An old grocery list on the table, and checks that presumably we will not be able to cash. And stuff. Alright, now that we've checked that out, for context, we shall release our comrade. Hi, Kim. Sorry about that.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
This apartment is supposed to be empty. Did you break in here?
Excuse me? Of course not.
We'll see how accurate that is.
You have plenty of reason to enter.
I don't need a warrant if I suspect there's been a break-in.
Oh, come on.
There's a pause before you hear the door being unlocked.
Well, that was easy.
That was smart.
The lieutenant says, nodding towards the unlocked door. A blister pack of medicine peeks out of the box. You should take it. Okay. What's this? Hypnogamma. It's basically 3 uses of the morale drug. Looks like a fine mattress. Don't be ridiculous. You can hear it swarming with bugs. And black monk straps. We're gonna put those on and it's gonna trigger something in a moment. But first...
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see?
A realtor. She jingles a set of keys in her hand.
Boy, there are a lot of different keys there. More than 20 at least.
Interfacing likes keys.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
She's, getting a little stroppy with us. This is a type of person who does not enjoy having her legitimacy challenged. Well, inspect the passport.
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details.
Nice haircut.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour.
What are you doing here?
I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place.
Sounds like they knew how to have a good time.
It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent.
She stops, hesitating.
A sudden serious look crosses her face. This story didn't have a happy ending.
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? I'm in a hurry.
Isn't it a bit late to be working? It's 9:55.
It is.
She breathes in and out to the count of 3. It looks like some special stress release technique before she continues.
Everyone says the real estate agents don't do anything. But here I am in the middle of the night cleaning up someone's crash pad. So the sooner we get this over with, the better.
She means you. Time for the next question. Who lived in the foreclosed apartment down the hallway? That's the really cold one that we were in a moment ago.
Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but...
That's apparently a thing that landlords can do.
And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall.
Ron.
A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
She snaps her fingers. How dare that tenant not pay 3 months' worth of rent on an apartment that had a hole in the wall you could walk through?
The sum must have been puny.
It couldn't have been that much money. This apartment looks pretty shabby.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, life, spark, and they are affordable.
If they're so affordable, why are you foreclosing on people?
I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards.
We're gonna see radio computer wizards in a bit later.
The radio computer wizards are invested with magical economic powers.
Gosh, doesn't this feel familiar? Someone whose primary mode of being is finance, thinking that a fad of technology is going to make things all better any day now? My money has also disappeared, I think.
Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it.
So wait, what happened with the wall?
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both.
She's still shaking her head, manicured hands now crossed over the chest. That's all, thank you.
Of course.
She replies with a smile, but her eyes remain glazed over. She's been waiting for you to leave. Kim has something to say. We'll talk with him in a second. But first, we've got these shoes. +1 to indirect modes of taxation. Affluent moneymaker man. These Per and Ingersoll shoes have no lacing, but a strap and a buckle. A strap, so you can pull yourself up by them. Due to their elegant and affluent design, they have been described as the most advanced dress shoe. So advanced, in fact, that walking through slush and mud does not leave a single trace on them. Now, you will note it says +1 to indirect modes of taxation, which is not a skill or a stat. But with our ultra-liberalism at 3, this should be enough to trigger something.
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk strips. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet?
Savoir-faire is the skill associated with ultra-liberalism. That's our cool, our suave, our swagger. You know what? I don't think we've read the description of savoir-faire. Let's have a look. Sneak under their noses, stun with immense panache. Cool for acrobats, thieves, and unbearable show-offs. Savoir-faire urges you to be better than you are. It urges you to be disco, slip by others in Samaran boxing style, then tumble out the back with unexpected acrobatics. Little world-building note, Samaran boxing will be mentioned elsewhere in the game, also sometimes shortened to Sambo. Think of it as being similar to Muay Thai. It enables you to move with silent footsteps, to groove to a good beat, and to lift useful evidence off perps without them noticing. It also makes you a cooler cop whose athletic flair will certainly impress the citizenry. At high levels, savoir-faire will make you the king of cool, which is as much to say the most stylish douchebag in Revachol. Nobody will see you until you're ready to be seen, and then they'll get the full treatment, whether they want it or not. At low levels, however, you'll be a bumbling, feckless cop, unable to catch a pair of keys thrown by your partner without losing an eye. As I believe I said in the first session, savoir-faire, literally translated from the French, means know how to do it. But a more accurate translation? Smooth. Anyway, Savoir-Faire has an opinion on our shoes. You're right. Beautiful things do make people happy.
Beautiful things give you a rush. It's power. Crafting your style, draping your flesh in silk and leather, deciding how to present yourself to the world. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether you like it or not, wearing these shoes has made you more liberal, ultra-liberal. They're either a gateway drug or a booster pack to get you deeper into free market ideology.
Savoir-Faire and all of our ultra-liberal instincts will insist that we worked for our things. But we literally just found these shoes in a closet and pretty much stole them. So much for bootstraps.
Wow, you work hard.
And now, the thought proper. I do?
Oh, yes. You hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
What hard work do I do exactly?
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
I fucking ride till I die, bitch.
That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco-Negros and the Solas.
I'd like to take a moment now to talk about money in this setting. We don't ever really see the paper money, but in the dialogue in multiple places, it indicates that money here is black, and they refer to it as gills. You might be more familiar with money as being green, like a leaf growing. Black gills are what you would find on a mushroom. The distinction, I think, reflects the author's perception of capital. Mushrooms do indeed grow, but only by harvesting that which is already dead.
It ain't easy, but you do it, day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
I mean, yeah, I did take that bribe from that Joyce woman.
Oh yeah, you took that bribe hard. You're a killer.
You could say I took some money from the Manana guy, too.
You didn't log that in as a donation either. You don't log any of that shit in. You're a straight rider.
I guess I've made some gills, sure. And I promptly spent most of it on clothes and books.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself.
It's worth noting, and this is somewhat detracting from this particular monologue, but I'll just point out that in multiple places now, shooting yourself, they always say, shoot yourself in the mouth. There is actually a point in the game where we can point a gun and threaten to kill ourselves, and when we do so, we put it in our mouth. That is notable. Anyway, ask yourself.
Are you rich?
No, I'm actually not.
That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
It's because that Gart guy riding my ass.
The Gart man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think with your head.
The system is broken.
Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor?
There's a market for corrupt cops out there, but the immigrant cops have price dumped it.
Look, the immigrants are cool. The immigrants play cool music. Everyone likes them, especially the women. Don't hate on the immigrants. They've got nothing to do with you living under a boat.
Okay, just tell me. I don't know. Why am I so poor?
Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze.
Oh yes, all the taxes we've been paying so far.
Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is Revachol?
I thought there were no taxes.
You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The Gossamer state's a myth. In total, the coalition government is taking 98% of all your money.
Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
Bleeding nipples are kind of a pain, but how will deregulation help with that?
It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it.
We have opted into ultraliberalism. And that gives us the thought, indirect modes of taxation. Let's take a look at that. -2 to our empathy if we do choose to internalize it. First, if you have a side bitch ideology cooking somewhere, don't sweat it. Fighting indirect taxation for the Gossamer state is compatible with all creeds. It's cool like that. You're a cool anarchist now. Unless you don't want to be an anarchist. Whatever. Stuff this meal ticket in your eye socket and let's see if we can steal some love back from the robber barons at the Customs Agency and the banditos at the Insulindian Financial Oversight and Competition Committee. Anyway, Kim has something to say. Probably because it just ticked over to 10 p.m. Hi Kim, what's up?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages yet.
You should take care of that, then.
But I don't have the money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Indeed we will. I knew this was going to happen, which is why I already spent the money that Joyce gave us. Alright. So we are going to go talk to Gart, but first, let's report back to the cleaning lady about the realtor.
Give me a moment.
I didn't find any counterculture people in apartment number 10. It was just a real estate agent setting up the room for new tenants.
I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
So our options are, yes, radio computer wizards are coming. They're going to save the place and the economy. Or no one is coming. There'll be nothing but squalor unless we start killing real estate agents. Lax women and sexual deviants, that's who'll come. Spit. I'm sure everything will be fine. This apartment needs slow change. Imperceptibly slow.
Yes. Well.
She doesn't know what to say, so she just coughs and repeats.
I hope they're good people.
Your statements are too vague to comment on.
That was a political statement that I made. Let's take a look at our politics. As we can see, ultra-liberal got to 4, and that statement brought our moralist to 3. That's the next one we're going to be working on. Apocalypse Cop's still only at 2. Let's head up this way. We're not going to go talk to Gart just yet. Let's go grab whatever's in this box first. Talk to you in a moment, young lady. Door is locked. You can't get in. The chair's new. Someone lives back here. Yes, Cindy, I'm coming.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier. At Joyce, who's over here.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Don't use that tone with me. I am the law.
Sod off, pigman. Art is above the law.
Despite the sass, she puts the brush aside.
A brush? An artist? The red splatter is urban expressionism. That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil is only used in government vehicles, or at least that's the idea.
Is that government fuel oil?
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
Fumes are bad for you, okay?
Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant is desperately searching for another handkerchief.
Again, wrong voice line. She turns her head to face the coast and nods disdainfully towards Joyce, performing maintenance on her boat.
Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
Or at least, she doesn't appear to notice. Joyce, as ever, knows a lot more than she lets on.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
You mean Joyce?
On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world.
Why all the negativity?
Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor.
What are you doing for the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit.
Now, you'll recall in this setting, there are giant coalition aerostatics hovering over our heads and out in the bay, ready at a moment's notice to shell us back into oblivion if we ever try a communist revolution again. Aereo graffitio has particular meaning, this giant skull on the wall here, for example, because it's not just a message for the people on the ground. If graffiti is large enough and pointed upward or in the correct direction enough, it's meant to be read by the coalition. It's the common people's way of yelling up at the tanks that are pointing guns at them 24/7 to say, hey, this is what we think down here.
I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
She studies the wall, suddenly pensive. So you don't know what to write?
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
Yeah, that would be a good reason not to write it. Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
I have an opinion on this. Want to hear it?
Yeah?
I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
She means the opposite.
As always, teenage delinquents hate nothing more than their parents' approval. You know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Well, catch you later, Cindy.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Now, Cindy... Let's see. Well, we don't have a visible stat for Art Cop, but it is something that I am working towards. Let's see what's in here. Money. Pants. 100 tiny feet scurrying beneath the grate, the rats of the city. Enough coal to last for several winters. Smells of chemicals. Someone's been sleeping here recently. Cindy? Anything around here? Oh, you know what? If we're looking around... Nope, nothing. Let's look at these pants. Portal home. Conjugated properly. Laborer genes. +1 to our electrochemistry, god-ass, but -1 to our reaction speed, hind-sighted. Although these genes look worn, the wearer must have had an ass given to them by the mighty Lord himself. That beautiful peach-shaped man-ass has imprinted itself so deep in the fabric you can't but wonder if wearing them would start molding your own vague rear side into a more shapely form as well. Hell yeah. Oh, what's this? There's something in the jeans.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly.
Take the item out.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum, loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
We didn't go down this dialogue option, but if we had, we would know that Si Leng, the street vendor who sold us a bunch of used clothing, is from Seagay. Well, we've got an item. Let's interact with it.
There it is again. The scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer. The surface of another planet, or some ancient temple.
Ancient temple?
Yes, from the height of antiquity. A long, long time ago. Millennia ago. On an island of time you can never return to.
End of summer.
The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metals seems to increase dramatically, and you are rich. There is a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing there.
Where did it go?
Why are you talking to a gum wrapper?
Take a deep, deep breath.
Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems to grow stronger, like a glow, with every breath you take. Whatever petrochemical byproducts they used to create this artificial flavor have bonded tightly to the wrapper. Or is that just your memory filling the gaps? Until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes. Made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive.
Now you will remember the permeables container in our clipboard. We found the postcard. There was a similar smell there. We have a thought gained, the apricot chewing gum scented one. You have found a trace of entity who's been stalking you across the plains. The Gloomstalker, the conglomeration, the shadowy organization behind your downfall, possibly connected to the dreaded X something. Granted, it is impossible to determine its true identity, but you can remember when you first smelled its treachery. Yes, use the Tutti Frutti gum wrapper. Reconstruct the day you first breathed in her untrustworthy atoms. All right. Head back out.
Hello again, officers.
Is that
Have
bed in
you
the coal
come to
room
admire
yours?
my mural? Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Don't you have a real
Does
home?
anyone in a city like this?
She replies wistfully, looking around. So you're a miner?
Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens.
It's not the nicest place, but I guess it'll have to do.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all.
The inspiration will come to her once hell is set loose on the streets. It's too calm right now.
Conceptualization knows something that we don't. Yet.
Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Catch you later, Cindy. Alright, so we are going to go deal with Gart, which will probably be the last thing we do in this stream. There is one thing we're going to grab. These orbs, for one. Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disassemble it. Capeside Apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, roundabout north. Got the crowbar so we can get this. Signal blue naval coat. +1 to suggestion. Aye, Captain. -1 to half-light. Officerial poise. This classic double-breasted coat suits everyone, including you. And if you ever find yourself battling winds at the helm of a ship, then the coat's heavy fabric has got your back, even if moths have left a few holes in it. Alright, let's just see. Is there anything else for conceptualization? No. Should be able to retake this check.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
We got a +2 because Cindy's artistic impulses are infectious. Now, 72% shot at this. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's a wall. An ordinary wall.
Yeah?
Why must we stop to look at this wall every time we pass by? We have business to attend to.
I know. Chill out, Kim. A lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach. There's a lot of seabirds in this setting. Alright, the bookstore is closed. Most people are off the streets, not the drunk guy, though. Let's go talk to Gart. He's about to evict us. Got a bunch of stuff here. Talk to this bald guy. What's up? It's all about money, you know? You gotta spend money to make money. Money is what really matters. They say money can't buy you happiness, but that just means you don't have enough money. You have to invest your money wisely. You can buy stocks with money, and then those stocks to make even more money. That way you'll have enough when you grow too old to make new money. Real estate is the graveyard where tired old money goes to rest. Money is what literally makes the world turn. The laws of money are just like the laws of nature. Unpaid labor doesn't net you any money. There's no such thing as free money. Money is all about numbers. Money is actually all about trust. It's all about money, you know. I did that for a reason. A bottle of rum has been knocked over. Beautiful dark liquid is spilling out.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already?
Pretty long. It's drink o'clock.
Attaboy. It's coming back to him. You had your mesolimbic reward pathway worried there, not thinking about drinking all that time. It was like you weren't yourself.
Actually, should I be thinking about this? Looks like drinking hasn't turned out too well for me.
Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade to yourself, boy. Or better yet, lick that stain off the counter.
Now, we can do this, but Kim will think less of us, so no.
What happened, man? You used to be cool. Go get your boring normal person drink then. Get your drink on and your act together.
Now, we are carrying some alcohol right now, but we're not going to drink it just yet. Hi, Gart.
Can I help you?
Gart, I saw another thing at the Whirling.
Another thing. Great.
Oh,
I
no.
love those.
Don't have a new thing, actually.
Yes.
So about that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
I was wondering if we could come to some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Now, I've got some options here, but Kim is about to say something. Let him.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However,
He adjusts his glasses.
I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and...
He stops mid-sentence.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
I'd like to take a moment to talk about Gart. Now, we'll uncover more of this, maybe, depending on how our playthrough goes, but Gart only showed up Monday morning. We trashed this place and smashed up the Great Skua Sunday night. That was what made Sylvie leave. Sylvie quit. Gart had to step in for her. That's why he hadn't met us until we came down. Everything Gart knows about us, he has derived from talking to other people and reading the ledger. Hold on, I still have my key, you know.
Good luck trying to use it.
He taps his foot against a metal box installed in the back of the counter.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
I'm not going to ask him to... Well, you know what? I will, because the dialogue's funny. I need a drink. Can you pour me one?
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
He points to his empty hand.
It's not a shaker. It's nothing. He's holding nothing. It is but an imitation.
Say nothing.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this?
He shakes the imaginary shaker furiously.
Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I'm not a bartender. I'm a cafeteria manager. Is there anything else you wanted?
Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
So our options are, I want a fucking drink, asshole. You don't understand the seriousness of the situation. I'm an alcoholic. I need my fix. I am an alcohol-operated detective. If you want me to clean up the dead body and solve the case, you need to insert alcohol into my mouth. Or, fine then, I had something else I needed. We're not gonna go down any of these routes. It makes things bad with Gart.
Like what?
Oh, goodbye. Alright, Kim's got something in his car that'll help. Let's collect the XP from these orbs. The dishes are drying. They smell of chemicals and pine trees. Inside, you catch a glimpse of Union paraphernalia, a strike poster, some red pennants. A sign reads, Mess Hall reserved for Union members. Doors open 1600. That's odd. We got to 1600 and the Union members weren't there for some reason. This royal pinball machine is unplugged. Alright, Kim, what's up with your car?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage.
Look in the suspect transport enclosure.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What are those things?
They are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
Honestly, that sounds like an amazing physics demonstration.
What do you mean you confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
So you took his spinners?
Mm-hmm. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Isn't that corruption?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Did you want to put these spinners on your machine?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
I've commented on this before. Kim loves his car. Outrageously cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
You said something about a pawn shop?
Yes, the Bird's Nest Roy, near the canal. We've been there. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Thanks. I appreciate your help.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Alright, let's take a look at these spinners. The magnificent hubcap spinners that Lieutenant Kitsuragi has donated to you so that you can pay for your room at the Whirling. They are slate blue and shimmer haughtily in the light. They're apparently gonna net us 200 real, and we only need 130 to pay Gart. We don't get to keep the difference. Hey, Roy.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
There's something I'd like to sell.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
The lieutenant steps in and hands him the spinners.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop. Gone forever.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
50 per spinner. Roy likes shiny things.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
The lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens the register and counts the cash.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you.
He takes the cash, then turns to you.
Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest goes in his pocket. And that's fair. It's his. And he's gonna need to pay for a place to stay himself.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I don't have anything to sell at the moment.
Another time, perhaps.
I have other business to take care of now. Alright, let's go pay for our room. We've got an insight about this pinball machine.
The theme on that pinball machine is a standard royalist theme, used on everything from pinball cabinets to full-flavor cigarettes.
What are its hallmarks?
Clinging to a picture book version of the past century, waiting for the king to come back and cast out all the profiteers and homosexuals. Basically, imagine a yellow plastic crown with a liquor brand emblazoned on it.
Wait, where do I get such a crown?
It comes free with a six-pack of Vermilion Roy d'Or. The words Roy d'Or are stamped into the crown's plastic.
King of Gold. Or Golden King, more accurately. The idea of a king in a century gone is pretty fascinating.
The sentiment is called anti-centennial nostalgia, pining for a time before the turn of the century. It's common even now, after 50 years.
Alright, just out of curiosity, how's our fascist? We're at 3. 3 for moralists, 3 for fascists. Any second now. Hi, Gart.
Can I help you?
So about that money I owe?
Yes. Have you got it?
I have your money.
Well?
So our options are, here's 130 real. Slam the bills down the counter. I hope you choke on it. Or, here it is. Sorry for the trouble.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
Honestly, a fair restriction on us.
The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
He opens his wallet.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Goodbye. Oh, what's this?
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type.
Ah, finally we got another one. This is because I said sorry. They're copotypes? A bit late to get this information, but okay.
Yes. Guess what's yours?
I was kind of hoping I'm the superstar cop.
That is only a ludicrous daydream. Guess again. You're the...
Cool cop?
No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we?
Won't the other copotypes be jealous?
What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. Don't worry. They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual copotype from sorry to anything.
It's worth noting that in much the same way that savoir-faire is the skill associated with ultraliberalism, suggestion is the skill associated with saying sorry. For manipulating people and making them think what you want them to think, but not necessarily lying. Which is, in a certain sense, what an apology is. I'm sorry.
Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million. That won't happen.
New thought. Rigorous self-critique. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of a feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Mazovian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with a cat o' nine tails. Whatever made you this way, you can be damn sure it was your own fault. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something from importance from your guilt-ridden past. We're not going to internalize that just yet either. We might. Just not now. Alright. So we've got our room for the night. One last thing before we end stream.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Alright, let's go. Kim is a very cool
outside
character.
is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
He lights a cigarette. I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
How'd you get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
He flicks the ash.
Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit, below it all.
I think I might want to pick up smoking. Do you have any more
I
cigarettes?
apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes.
Below, the city trembles with its remaining lights. People are rushing home, running away from home, smoking, sleeping, singing in the shower. Edges of dining tables, hands, aprons flicker through windows before the lights go out.
Right then, the debrief.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
How do you think today went?
Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man, so we didn't even inspect the body. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
It's all part of the plan, starting from the outside and working back toward the scene of the murder.
It's not my job to evaluate your methodology, officer. I'm just going through the facts. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Evra Claire, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow.
It certainly is.
We tried to interview the White Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it.
We'll check in with Joyce later.
I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
He purses his lips.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Yes, it's part of the Jamrock Shuffle. Like I said, we don't move like a normal person would move. We move like someone being controlled by a video game player.
It's impressive, to say the least. For a man your age, especially.
He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette.
Those are some stylish shoes too, by the way. Those loafers. Must be hard to run in those like you do.
This dialogue changes depending on our footwear. If we were wearing the green shoes, he would have commented on not being easy to run in them either. So what are our powers exactly? The RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
1,000? Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Rebachol.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
How can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
I see. And if someone resists?
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty...
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps on his coat pocket where he keeps his notes. And who makes all these
The
rules?
coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the coalition government.
It's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
The moral intern. What is it?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
DeLoreans. They follow Dolores Day. She's important.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
So, Dolores Day is not challenged. What is challenged is who truly represents her will. What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
Who was Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
Kim is a moralist, and in theory believes in DeLorean humanist ideals, but he's not really what you'd call religious. What do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
I have an opinion on the moral intern.
Do you?
The lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. And our options are, things are bad out there. We need them here, giving us the right to police Revachol. They've done an awful job here. Haven't you seen the place? This isn't humanism. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting bourgeois rights. Mutter silently. Immigrants, liberal, kipped, fucking men are turning into women. Or, on second thought, I don't have an opinion. Forget about it. We're going for moralism next, so I'm pretty sure this is the moralist option.
In fact, we would need them even if you didn't think that way. We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
Yeah, vigilantes sounds bad.
Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez. Most of them, at least, especially the Union. Vigilantes. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
He looks at the roundabout. That's what happens when you establish police precincts 50 years ago everywhere but this one neighborhood. This neighborhood gets real used to not having cops, and on the very rare occasions when cops show up, our authority is not recognized. Especially given that the source of our authority is the foreign invaders keeping Revachol down.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over.
Technically not for another 44 minutes in game time, but thank you. Say nothing. Just look into the night.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating The next drag. An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. 2 glowing circles.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
He pulls on the cigarette. Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our 2 precincts.
And in Jamrock and the GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are...
He shakes his head.
But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here. At least do some good.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
He puts out the stub of his cigarette and looks to the door. Here's moralism. Which I believe is empathy.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
This is because I keep saying none of the above to political stuff, isn't it?
It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
First, where is this Kingdom of Conscience?
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about those circumstances?
Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly.
Such as in the failed communist revolution 50 years ago. Regardless of what anyone might think about it, presumably everyone involved was trying to improve the situation.
That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
But what about all the things that are wrong now?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What sang-froid?
Wait, is the Kingdom of Conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
Yes.
There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress.
Okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Sounds incredible. Alan Z, let's go there right now.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Oh, right. Then let's get there eventually?
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
From the definition of moralism, you can probably guess what the devs of this game think of centrists and moderate left-wing people. Anyway, let's head back in. And we'll head into our bedroom that Kim's Spinners paid for. See you in the morning. Hey, close. Bye. And, of course, I'll see you next week. Although, as you will see, we aren't going to bed quite yet. Thank you all for joining me. This has been, as always, a pleasure, and I'm glad we got to see a bunch of stuff about the ideologies and politics of Disco Elysium. They're a very important part of this game, and I'll have more to say about them as we proceed. But for now, this is Wanda Wicks signing off. Catch you next week.